Hey guys, it's Lori here with a Voice in the Dark production, and we are enough. We do not consent, and we are star babies. And this is my stuff on what is being human all about, 10/17/25, and actually we're doing it on 11/19/25. It's about the soul, and God got us all it is. Remembering itself. Pretty cool, huh? The reason to abstain from any AI electronic connection in your body is because you already are linked into the greatest knowledge of the universe, Source itself. So enjoy walking with me now through some of the amazing human possibilities. I know that we have all been pushed emotionally and mentally strained to no end with this new administration, but that's what drama kings do. Chaos managers, I call them. That's what they do. That's their whole goal, is to keep us divided, to keep us down, keep us depressed, keep us feeling that we just can't do anything. But the thing is with people like that, because I was married to one, he was a drunk, but he was just like them. He was a bully, loudmouth, until shit hit the fan, and then he was kind of a coward. So, they are too. The thing is that what we're seeing all over the world right now is the human psyche coming online. You don't need electronic gadgets or gizmos or AI to tell you what God is and what you are. And you certainly don't need the rulers telling you what you are and what you aren't. You are God's in the greatest sense of the word, all in your own right. You are sparks of consciousness from Source itself. And you're beautiful, every one of you, all of us, and we're all uniquely different. Do you think Source would want us all cookie cuttered up? Cookie cuttered cutouts, of identical beingness? No. God, how would you ever have any fun? How would you explore anything in the universe if you were all identical? You wouldn't. And God knows that you're here. So don't worry about sin. But there are laws. We made the laws because there are things that you should not do. And some people just don't have a natural, empathy to do the right thing. But most of us do. But we write laws for those who don't. But the thing is that we came here to experience and remember ourselves, to remember our divinity with God, with Source, what we really are. And we start experiencing the world and each other. And when you sit down at the end of the day, let me ask you this. When you sit down at the end of the day, what is it that's most important to you? What is it that really fills your heart? Because that's what we're here for, those moments. Not the moments they're trying to make us do, or hurry up and get this done, and hurry up and get that done, and be part of this, and be part of that. If you don't want to be part of anything, you don't have to. Slow down. Take a breath. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Deep breathing is really a profound, if you have any of that rebel in you, the biggest rebel part you could do in life right now isn't yelling and screaming. It's sitting down and deep breathing for 15 minutes. Believe it or not, that would be a rebel thing to do. You see, that's when we get to touch into our God self. See, all the answers to the whole universe, to anything, already resides deep inside of us. The kingdom of heaven, which is the consciousness of heaven, is within us. We just frankly don't need the internet or any of that. All we need to do is sit down and take our time, deep breathe, and allow our inner self to to come forward and show us what we need to do next. And then we call that intuition. That's what our guide should be. Not that gut feeling that something's, if it physically feels wrong, there's, that's a reaction to, a psychological reaction to something. Your intuition will be a gentleness, but it'll be an overwhelming, not overwhelming, but it'll be an overcoming knowing is the best way to say it. You just know not to turn here or slow down or to go this way instead of that way or that kind of thing. And you can build your intuition up. There are activities you could do every day to practice your intuition. And I had to tell a psychologist, I said, don't ever tell anybody that their intuition is just a reaction to violence and trauma. That's bullshit. I had to explain to her that, look, trauma, yes, gives us a strong physical flight or fright thing. The thing is that it's your intuition that tells you about it first. Then you get the flight or fright because, you realize what it is. There's somebody, but you're psychic enough to relax, deep breathe 3 times and feel where it's coming from. If it's within a close distance, you want to exit, wherever you're at. But because mine is from violence, it's from the ability, if I can sense someone that's extremely angry and has violent tendencies, real quickly, and I will exit wherever I'm at. But that is because that's the environment I grew up when I was a kid. So I appreciate the knowledge that I have. I've healed my trauma. However, you're still going to always have this warning system, which is good. It's a good warning system, but don't let it overtake you. Deep breathe, know that you're in charge, and then sense where it's at. And if it's close, you can go ahead and exit. Or if it's, pretty far away, so anyway, there's just a big difference. And don't let any psychologist tell you that your spiritual gifts are nothing more than blah, 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 which is a negative. There's a big difference between intuition and fright and flight. So, and the more calm you get by deep breathing, and the more in tune you get with your inner self, the kingdom or Christ, however you want to make that is, you've got Christ and Sophie with you. And they are a divine partnership. And they are within you now, since Jesus came. And they are both part of you now. And all you have to do is tune in. If it's too much for you to think that you're, a unique individual being, that's fine. Someday you'll understand that you are unique and individual still, and but you have those two to call on. And anyway, get to know it, and because that's where we're at right now. Don't let the world try to tell us what we have to do and when we have to do it. We don't. And matter of fact, the longer we sit still, the more that world disappears and the new world appears. Believe it or not. The more we get in tune and remember who we are. And the great remembering is upon us now. And the great revelation is upon us, which is truth. Truth is coming forward. And all truth has to come forward, all the lies that we've seen and all that. But they're putting more lies out there as truth is coming forward about who you are and where you've been from. So what I'm going to tell you is, and this is the most important thing to understand, is that no matter what the history of our souls are, and then the history of getting trapped in this matrix, no matter what the story is, we are just going to become aware of who we are and walk into the real kingdom of heaven, which is something we're bringing to earth, the real earth, not this fake one. And that's what we're doing. And we're special beings. We're beautiful, and we are so creative and curious. And so let's get back to that. Get back. When Jesus said you can't enter the kingdom of heaven without being your childlike self, he meant the childlike wonder and the trust of the inner self. And that's true. And so the more you allow yourself to have that childlike wonder every day, you get closer to your inner self, and it comes forward, and you allow it, and that intuition will start building up, and your psychic gifts will start building up, and all that is spiritual gifts from God. God is all it is. And but deep breathing right now is a real rebellious thing to do. So deep breathe. It really scares the hell out of these rulers, because they don't want us to be free. And but it's too late. We're all waking up in our own way. Take your time, but love yourselves and love each other, because once you see the God in you and your experiences and everything that you've been through, these were lessons, they were experiences. They did not hurt your soul. They hurt you, and you need to understand, if you were a child when the hurt happened, forgive yourself, forgive the parent or the person or whoever was the objective at that time, the tormentor. Forgive them, because they had their issues from their childhoods, and we carry generational problems through, back to 7 generations worth. So go easy on everything. But see what it was, and see what it was. I had buried my childhood so badly that I didn't recognize the reason I went through the crazy crap I went through when I was a kid, until I was much older in my second marriage. And one day I got to see myself act just like my mother. I was throwing a hot cup of coffee at my husband when he pulled up and got out of a van with my dad. And then I saw them both laughing so hard, and I realized that my dad was a drunk. We didn't pay attention to it when I was a kid, because everybody drank. They drank when they drove. They drank all day long. It was not a big thing. It was just normal. But he was a drunk, functioning drunk, but a drunk. And he did cause a lot of chaos and a lot of screaming and hollering, and there was some violence. And but I didn't see what it was until my second marriage, and so then I knew, and it cleared a lot of stuff up for me, because I realized I could heal my child now, because it wasn't her fault. We think it's our fault. We're always looking for that love, because our Father loved us but didn't show us the kind of love we should have, so we're always picking bad partners or blah, blah, blah. It just goes on. But it's our responsibility to see it and heal it. And trust me, once you do, it's over. But the whole point is that the more we heal right now, is the more rebellion is a rebellious act against the rulers of the world. And the other thing is, you can tell them you do not consent. You are a sovereign being. You are a sovereign being and a soul of the source of the other universe, not this one. And you're a sovereign being. Just remember that. And you are loved by the universe. And there's a lot of beings that kind of show up soon, different ones, different times, but mostly in the spirit, so that they can help guide us and help us heal, even more so, with light and love. And I'm working on a program. I know that I failed, and I got hurt real bad, and I was down for about 3 months. So I am getting back on the stick again, and getting stuff done. So I'll have a program put together to help you heal too. And it'll help you get through these frustrating moments that we're going through. You can't help but feel frustrated and insecure and anxious in these day-to-day dramas that are coming out of that stupid White House. But if you're still following and supporting these bullies, which I really can't believe many people are still doing it, then we need to support each other and support a positive change in our government, and get back to all the deregulating that we did and re-regulate everything again, because our food sucks. These elite bought up everything, because they wanted to control our food, they wanted to control our water, they wanted to control, hell, they wanted to control how much we eat, speak, walk, talk. You know, it's really ridiculous. So anyway, and it's not really a laughing matter. I'm laughing because it's like, it almost seems, you know, preposterous to me, but it is there. It is real. And what we're going to do is work together to help each other heal, make space for each other and your neighbors. Check on them once in a while. Make sure that, you know, you see people going in and out of their apartments, because there's elderly that are not being checked on anymore. So we need to check on them and just, you know, see that they're getting help when they need it. We need to be there for each other more than against. And if you are racist, there is no place in this world anymore that hate is acceptable anymore. So if you got problems with race issues and this and that, it's because you've been programmed to be that way. Unprogram yourself. And I knew a man once who had become a neo-Nazi. You know, white brotherhood and all that crap. Because he came from southern Missouri. That's where his family was. That's where he was. But then one day, he ended up going to prison. And he was a little guy, white. And obviously. But the neo-Nazis in the prison are not the ones that helped him, ever. It was a black man that did, they made friends. He got him a job in the kitchen. And he said he helped him. And they became friends. And, but it was never the white brotherhood. In there, when you go to prison, there is no brotherhood anymore, boy, it's each man for himself. That's how these guys are right now. And that's what they don't understand. They're following somebody that's only in there for himself. And each one of them are only in there for themselves, but they're having to depend on this one loose cannon. And anyway, it's imploding on itself. It will continue to implode. That kind of crap just doesn't work. And we are in the days of revelation. So that means revealing. So you can't hide your ugly past anymore, and you can't hide your ugliness now, you know. And so all that darkness is going to come out, and we have to be prepared to be let down and disappointed in some of the people that we thought were good but weren't, and let it go. And focus on the ones that are, because we've got access with the internet. We've got access to see who's being voted in and who's wanting to move up. And we need to look at how they actually voted. We need to really look at this stuff. We have to be more involved, like it or not. And most of us have enough time to at least check on our congressmen, check on our senators to see what they're doing within our own state and in the United States federal government. So don't let them change these laws. We have a right to 30 basic human rights. And in the United States of America, we have a right, and we're going to have to fight for it. Not with guns and then fists and all that shit. We're going to fight for it with our intelligence and our hearts and our camaraderie. Not division, but undivided. We're all different. That's what this country allows us to be. So get over yourselves. If you're hurting, and I understand the middle class are hurting the most, at least that's what they're feeling. But the point is you're not. All those homeless people, some of them had been middle class at one time. But as they kept cutting out the good middle class jobs, good wages, good jobs, everything goes down. So those people that lost the good middle class, they went down and took over all the lower, what we call lower class, of the bottom rungs, the last two rungs of the pyramid incomes, because that's what we had to do. That's what they had to do. And that pushed everybody else into poverty. Really bad poverty, homelessness. So we need to be realistic at how this all worked and how it was done. And there are some good people out here putting some good history on how all this happened. Robert Rica, and there's a couple others that I'll put a list together and I'll put them on my site. But you have to use your intuition, but you got to get out of your arrogance. You got to get out of your, oh, ho, ho, I'm right and you're wrong. This had nothing to do with poor people trying to hurt you. This has everything to do with rich people wanting more, 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 and giving less, 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 and not giving a shit about anybody but themselves. This is what selfishness does. This is what greed does. And you'll soon find out that all these oligarchies, all these wealthy elite, they are all part of the 7 deadly sins, period. They are the representation of the 7 deadly sins. So if you really care about your godhood, your graciousness to get into heaven, you need to see reality as it is and ask yourself, where do I fall in those aspects? Because when you die, I will tell you that there are 7 levels of 7 levels of hell, and you will meet 7 different devils, and they are 7 different devils that are each responsible for a different deadly sin, and they are going to question you. They're going to harass you. They're gonna want to make sure that you really are a solid, pure heart. And then once you get through the 7, and that's 49 actually devils that you'll go through, and then you have to meet the gatekeepers of the monad, which means that is where we actually can exit into the dark, where our heaven was. And we'll go from there. But to exit this matrix, they made it quite the treat, to say the least. But it's not a joke. It's a mind fuck. The whole thing is a mind fuck. So as soon as you figure that out, and you start looking at your brothers and sisters and friends and neighbors as an aspect of God, like you, not the reptilians that are at the top, but everyday people like you and me. Now, there are fallen angels that are here. They help us. And I'm not putting them down. They help us. But they are part of the principalities that try to help keep us here to prove our worthiness. So, but they do treat us better. So, anyway, I send my love to all of you. And if you ever need anything, my email's there. You can get a hold of me. I am going to really try to hit the podcast once a day for everybody. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Lori's out.